Hello, hello, my Star Atlas family. It's me, the Metaverse Explorer. I'm back to update you on what's happening in Star Atlas thanks to Aephian. Now, we have two things to talk about. One of them is a little bit smaller. It's gameplay that just got released on their Twitter. And the next one is an economic paper, which is very in-depth and has been super, like, there's so much packed in there, right? We're going to just do a superficial look of the document because we'll have to go through it. I'm sure all the DACs are going through it right now, okay? So first off, let's actually just go through the new gameplay trailer. Now, this is pre-alpha content in development. You can see here just initially there's like a Fatali here, the aliens, an Oni, and then a mud person here. And I think they're just showing us a few of the doors that might be opening in the ships, or even in your base, maybe. And this is minimalism is great, right? This is going to be one of the desks in the ships, and we've seen one of the ships with a desk. Look at this! I love it. It just comes out and goes out, and then they end up going into one of the ships. Now, I was very interested to see what this one is. So there's the PSX4 on the corner, right? We can see that already. We've seen that lots of times. I'm very surprised by what this is. I can't tell what it is. Can you tell what it is on the top? I can't. I'm gonna stop it here so you can see properly. Yeah, just there. I can't tell what it is. Anyway, we go on to a ship. What does this ship look like? I think it's not a. It's a calico. It's a calico ship. I love the opening of it. Very nice. Very, very nice. And then we go in. You can see a little punab on the floor and the Pierce Council. So it's a Pierce ship. Very nice, right? So you can go ahead and watch this yourself later on in the Twitter. But for now, what I want to do is actually look at the economic paper that was just dropped like a couple of hours ago, right? All right, let's stop this. Sorry. Stop. Economic paper. Star Atlas releases its inaugural AAA State of the Economy report. It's a quarterly paper of record, offers economic insight into the world's fastest growing ecosystem of the gaming metaverse. So they give us a little bit of a blurb, what it's about, and they give us a TLDR, right? So let's just quickly, we'll look at TLDR and then we'll browse the document, right? Because there's a lot in there, to be honest. And I picked up on stuff that I was surprised by and I was like, oh, really? Okay, let's go. So, key reports. The growth in the labor force, and they're talking, when they say labor force, they're approaching this as Star Atlas is like a government, or the Star Atlas metaverse is a government, right? The DACs are a government and the factions. And then they're producing an economic report on their environment, the Star Atlas environment, right? And so when they say the labor force, they're talking about you and me, because we are part of the labor force in Star Atlas, right? We have our ships, we're working, we're citizens. And then there's people who are non-citizens, who don't have a ship, who don't hold Atlas, who don't do stuff. So there's like different nuances that you'll have to understand first. So the growth in the labor force drove aggregate daily Atlas wages to increase by 18% since the beginning of 2022. The size of the labor force grew by 49.1%. They're talking about us, the people. We grew, like people working, right? By 49.1%. And by working, I mean it's people who are staking their ships, I think. And they give definitions for all of this anyway. The average wage per ship declined by 27.1%. Now, I'm not entirely sure where this came from because the average wage, I think, is attributed to the staking that you do with your ship. And if the wage declined, I thought it was a direct amount that you got per hour or per second for your staked ship. So you were still getting the same amount of Atlas. Unless they're counting Atlas in the USDC market, then it's a bit different. Even if it's a USDC market, we've lost way more than 27%. So I don't quite know where it's coming from. I should read the report, right? We should all read the report. The aggregate employment rate per ship decreased by 3.7%. So all great TLDR. There's a giant report. Let's go ahead and read it. Here we are. Star Atlas, State of the Economy. Automata Industries Incorporated Department of Economics, June 30th, 2022. They go through a disclaimer. And this, ladies and gentlemen, this is like a 27-page report, right? And there's like no fluff in it. All the way till the end of the thing is calculation. So this is a very robust document, right? Let's just skim through it. Let's go through a bit of the executive summary, right? We know the key highlights already. The supply of new labor hours came from the fleet deposits of extra small ships, which commanded low Atlas wages per ship. You know what they're talking about? It's the Thimble airbike, right? They're saying new ships came onto the market and were working in score because of the extra small ships. And really, it's just been the Thimble airbike because people have been buying those. Have you noticed? There's no more Thimble airbikes on the market. They're all secondary. There's no fresh Thimble airbikes anymore. They're bought out. So if you're going to buy a Thimble airbike now, it's going to be of someone else who owned it before you, okay? So my question is, now that everyone has used their Atlas to buy Thimble airbikes, where's the rest of all that money going to go? People are still earning Atlas, but now there's no Thimble airbikes to go. Are they going to buy the next ship on top of it? Or are they going to start selling their Atlas, right? What are they going to do? Let's find out. Adding these ships to the capital stock lowered the average daily earnings per employed ship from around 22 Atlas to 16.8. So they're saying because of a lot of the people were staking their Thimble airbikes as an extra small ship, the wages went from 22 to 16.8 Atlas. I didn't see this myself, but maybe it's an extrapolation that they've come to. Last year, the world experienced a metaverse gaming boom, which ascended into what could easily be described as mania. Yes, it was. It was manic, right? It was crazy. The speed of ascension and subsequent bust is historically remarkable, but not unprecedented. One must look no further than the late 90s NASDAQ tech bubble to grasp the current post-bubble environment. So I don't know where they're going with this. It's supposed to be a Star Atlas only economic report on them, but they're still incorporating or like using references from modern traditional finance, which is the NASDAQ tech bubble and like, you know, the tulip bubble, whatever. So I don't know. It's pick and choose. It's either all in Star Atlas economy or you're going to draw from modern traditional issues as well. I don't know. I'm not an economist, so these guys know what they're doing writing this. It's just my opinion. So we can see the comparison between Atlas, Polis, and the MetaVerse Gaming Index, which just follows like the same, right? We're performing just nearly the same within the within the probability of statistics. Like we're so close together, there's no significance, right? We're the same as Atlas and Polis going all the way down here, which is unfortunate. But hey, that's what we have. So they did conduct a census. Roughly 37% of people involved in Star Atlas only hold Atlas, right? By holding Atlas, they express their positive belief in the economy's viability. People that only hold Atlas are non-resident Atlas holders. People that only hold Atlas are non-resident. And by resident, which means you'll need to have a ship as well, which means you're actually participating in the economy and not just like speculating on the table. So they give us some numbers here. Who are the residents, citizens, you know, the frequency, the share of them of Atlas holdings. Now, one thing I did find particularly interesting, 75% of Star Atlas population holds Atlas. 66% of these holders are not participating in score. Holy crap. Holy crap. 75% of people hold Atlas. 66 of these holders are not participating in score. That's a ginormous amount of people who are only holding Atlas and who are being diluted crazy amounts by not having a ship. Okay, by not participating in score, they're saying you don't have a ship and you're not staking a ship, which means everyone else who has a ship is like earning Atlas above you. That makes no sense. Why would anyone do that? These guys are speculators. They don't know what to do with their Atlas. They bought it ages ago. They hold it in their wallet. They forgot about it. Nah. Let's go ahead and keep going. It's a huge report, right? There's no way we're going to be able to get through all of this. Faction migration, non-resident visitors. Now, there's one statistic which was very surprising to me, and I pointed this out in AEP as well. Hey guys, faction share of daily active ships, right? We can see the Mud, Oni, and Oyster, and the blue one is the Oyster, right? They have the largest faction share of daily active ships. And look at the right-hand side as well. That's the daily faction share of active ships. Now, there's a big, we think in Aephian, they think it's Tree, Bodhi from Tree. If you know this guy, he's in the Star Atlas Discord. He owns like 14 tree arrows and he's in the Oyster. His wallet is public. You can go and find it. They think he is responsible for this giant blip of daily active ships, right? Because, you know, tree arrows produce a lot, so he's still able to buy a lot of ships off the secondary market. and he's been able to, like, keep this metric up. We don't know yet, right? I'm not a blockchain analyst, but you can see that this is definitely a trend that is not the same as others. Like, look at the MUD and look at Oyster, and then look at Oni and look at MUD, and then Oyster is way high. So why is this? I'm very interested to see if any of you guys actually know. All right, let's see. There's lots of calculations, how they come to some of these calculations, which is all good. You're going to have to sit down, get a coffee, and read all of this. Capital class, commander classes. This is the earnings after tax for Atlas. Crazy. Really, they put a lot of effort into this, right? They put a lot of effort. I'm just going to go past a lot of this stuff because there's some stuff that I wanted to get as well. We're only halfway now, guys. Jesus Christ. Ships per player. Oyster, you can see, has way more ships per player, which, yeah, it's like Oysters are supposed to be like the economical kind of faction, right? They're supposed to be like the trading faction, so it kind of makes sense that the Oysters are the one that have most ships. But it also could be just Bodhi himself from Tree. He just buys a whole bunch of different ships off the secondary market because he's rediversifying. Crazy stuff. Let's read this. Everything in bold, I think you should pay particular attention to. The cost of capital is a casual deterrent of fleet expansion. In particular, the fallen price of Atlas has resulted in substantial repricing across all previously minted ships below origination values. What is just basically saying, yes, market is going down, Atlas has been going down, so the price of ships has been going down in Atlas, and people don't want to buy new ships because the Atlas keeps going down. This explains the growth in the share of reinvested Atlas earnings attributed to repeat deposits, which means people are using the Atlas they already have or are earning from their ships and using that to buy new ships. They're not introducing new capital into the system. They're not transferring USDC to Atlas to buy. Ships that are being sold on the market from previously held inventory at substantial discounts to origination prices represent a better opportunity than diversifying into newly produced ships. You know what they're saying? They're saying, like, there's no use in buying fresh ships. There's no use in buying fresh ships at VWAP price of 300 or 3K, right? It's way better for you. It's their words, a better opportunity to buy a ship that is severely reduced due to the Atlas price on secondary market from someone who's upset and who doesn't want their ship anymore, okay? You can pay $300, $500 for a $3,000 ship that they bought. Okay, and remember, later on, these ships that are selling at a discount, the discount isn't going to be there anymore once the ship comes out, Let's keep going. They talk about labor force, labor flow. In the absence of significant labor force changes, players' efforts to keep their ships employed determine aggregate Atlas earnings. They talk about the DAO revenue. The DAO so far has accrued, I think, 1 million Atlas or something crazy like that, where they're talking about the employed earnings of the ship sizes. Where are they? As of 14th July, which is only like a half a month ago, the DAO has collected 177 million Atlas in revenue. Since R4 burnt is a direct function of the time spent earning Atlas, DAO revenue is pro-cyclical. 177 million in Atlas. That's a lot of Atlas, ladies and gentlemen. What are we going to do with it? We got to have a DAO, right? Concluding thoughts, Score has proven to be a real economy. An external shock occurred at the outset when the decline in broader crypto markets reduced the net wealth of faction residents. This is very true. Is there anything to change any of this? No, not really. There's a whole bunch more. Talk about a MetaVerse and talk about all this other stuff. But there's one thing that someone in AP spotted, right? It's one thing, and I'm going to show it to you here. It's some of the footnotes are probably the most valuable. We should all read the footnotes, right? I'm going to bring this in so you can read it. The components are not linearly additive. So they're not talking about extra small is worth 10, like in value or units of measurement, extra small. And then an extra 10, and then a small is not like 20, and then a medium is 30, and a large is 40. They're not doing it like that, right? They're talking about the components in the ships. The components are not linearly additive. For example, 2 small class maneuvering thrusters do not equate to a medium-sized maneuvering thruster. So 10 plus 10 is not equals to 20, okay? In fact, 2 small class components equates to roughly 73.5% of the output of 1 medium component. So even if you add 2 small components, you're still not going to come to the same value as a medium, right? So it's better to just have the medium, okay? The general rule of thumb is that component productivity increases by a factor of 2.7 with each class. So what does that mean? That means that if we know that a medium component is going to cost $100, then the 2 smaller components should be priced roughly divided by 2.7, right? It should be like, what is it? $40, maybe $40-ish dollars, something like that, within that range. It's not exactly double the amount, right? There's a whole bunch of other stuff in this document. I don't have time to go through all of them. I'm gonna have to read this very in depth and like have a coffee, sit out in the sun. And I, if anyone who's part of Star Atlas, you guys, you watch these videos, I really suggest you go out and read this document as well. It was very, very well done. And I followed the guy recently on Twitter who was responsible for this. You guys go to my Twitter, find him as well. He's called Verm Dragon or Vima Dragon, I forget. But yeah, I mean, it's a great document, right? Look at all this. Look at all this. There's so much to read. There's too much. All right, I'm going to leave it here, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Love you as always. Ciao for now.